to do a reading a compass. This is going to be a basic compass class. Does everybody have a compass? And if you need a compass, a couple of people have a few extra. Just pass them around. Some of them might have them on their phone. The cheaters. Okay?
Anybody need one?
You can actually use the one on your phone the same way we're going to do this?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
3 of them sitting here.
Yeah, if you want to just have one handy on the table so you can at least follow along when you do this. The lensatic compass is a little more complicated than your basic plate compass or your floating compass, but it'll give you an idea of how to figure out how do you determine where north is, east, west, south, things like that. All right, general directions, pretty basic. All right, you have 4 cardinal points on the compass: north, east, south, and west. Okay? Does everybody see that on your compass?
Yes.
Huh? Yeah. There you go.
I was using the picture.
Okay. Now, the intercardinal points on the compass are the points that are halfway between the north and the west, north and the east, east and the south and the west. Those are called northeast, southeast, all right, northwest, and southwest. All right, does everybody see that on the compass?
Yep.
All right. Now you have 360 degrees on a compass, right? Because it's a complete circle. Everybody understands that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is going like I'm going through mass hunter safety. You know? You
That's
guys are
all right.
9, right? 9, 10, 11 years old? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All
That's
right.
good.
Now what you want to do, all right, well, let's get in the types, all right? We've got 2 types of basic compass. We have 3 here tonight. We have the lensatic compass, which is more of the military style. We have the plate compass, which is a mountaineering compass, which has a plate on it, all right? And it has a scale, so you can measure off and scale on a map, all right? And it has the dial on here, so you can rotate it, so you can maintain your direction of travel, okay?
For us, Steve, what's the base, I mean, for,
Mountaineering compass is the easiest one to use when you're hiking. Your floating compass, which I usually keep on one of my jackets, it's not a precision compass. It's more or less just to maintain your directions of travel in the woods. I mean, you can't do much with this, but it gives you your northeast, southwest, things like that. All right, these are real nice to handy if you're familiar with the woods you're in, and you want to head in a particular direction. You know, if it's getting a little foggy or dark out or something like that, you want to head in one point. This is nice to have. If you're someplace that you haven't been before, you want to use either a mountaineering compass or a lensatic compass. All right, if you're familiar with it. The easier the compass is to read for you. If you're not accustomed to reading compasses, you want to stay basic, and that's the mountaineering compass. Right. Later on this year, we hope to have a really good orienteering program down in the woods, which Rich can set up, and we can actually get into using the lensatic compasses and the mountaineering compasses, and actually go to designated points in the woods, and so you learn how to be accurate, you know, because that's the important thing with compasses. All right, the basic reading, okay? No matter the compass, one end of the needle is always red, okay? If you look, except on my floating compass, or green, it can be green or red, all right? Okay, that is what? There is a magnetic piece like a needle, but it has a paper disc card glued to it, or it has a plastic ball around it, and it's free to rotate. As this vehicle turns, the card or ball remains fixed, so the part you see change, all right? These are fine for general directions, but not helpful for what we want to do, okay? So in other words, if you rotate the plate or your whole compass, you're going to see the needle is pointing where?
north?
North, all right? Now, what you have to remember is, if there's metal around you, all right, or if you set this on top of a car, or there's metal on the table, all right, it will alter the needle direction. Because why? The needle's magnetic. So if this table has metal on it and you set the compass on, the needle is gonna have a tendency to go towards the metal, right? And it can change up to 20, 30 degrees sometimes, right? So you wanna make sure you hold that compass in the palm of your hand, all right, if you're gonna read it, all right? And that's a good thing to do, okay? Best thing to do, even if it's your cell phone compass. All right. So hold your compass steadily in your hand so the base plate is level and in the direction of travel. All right. Then what they're saying is, okay, let's hold up the compass in your hand. All right. Get the needle pointing north. All right. And your direction of travel needle, if you have a base plate or mountaineering compass, all right. If we want to head west, all right, you're going to take the compass, find north, line it up with the red highlight on your dial, all right, or the end, right, and turn the base plate or your dial, if it's a lymphatic, and you're going to turn it to your west, okay? I want you to turn it to the west, okay? And maintain the red arrow going north, all right? You see, does everybody do that? Did you do that?
I have no
Okay.
understanding what you're
Okay,
saying.
so what you want to do, all right, on a lymphatic is a little, is there a dial on that one? There should be a little dial, you can turn it for direction of travel.
My red meter
Okay.
is stationary, sorry. The red needle does is just a compass. So this thing was supposed to be on the left?
All right,
Okay.
so what,
I didn't know it was
basically,
a dial.
what it does is, all right, even on your lymphatics, they have a little scale or a slide on the side, all right? When you need to determine which direction you're gonna travel, all right, you need to turn that or line it up. If you're at point A and going to point B, all right, then you need to line your edge, all right, your straight edge from point A to point B while maintaining that arrow on your compass in, so it's still 0 degrees at north, magnetic north, okay? So, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so see, if I turn this, then I'm not maintaining my magnetic north.
Right.
So you keep the red arrow into the red highlight. And the same thing here, okay, you just maintain it on the north, all right? And then you line up, or you rotate this, you have a little slide right here, okay? So if you're gonna travel west, okay? Let's see, let's run north. This is because of the metal here, but so what you wanna do is you're gonna travel west. So we're gonna turn this. See? You can turn this. So you maintain this to north, and now you're gonna head west. Okay? From point A to point B. That's why that dial on your compass moves, all right? Because you're not always gonna follow north, all right? Because you just go to the North Pole, right? So you have to determine where you are, all right? So if you're going from North Brookfield to West Brookfield, then your direction of travel is from North Brookfield to West, which say would be from east to west, all right? You maintain your north on your dial, all right? And you determine where you're going on the map, and that's your line of travel.
That makes sense.
Okay, does everybody understand?
Yes.
It's sort of
No idea.
confusing a little bit if you don't understand.
I don't care.
What I did is I brought
That's
a regular street map,
never happened.
okay? Everybody still has these in their car. Does everybody have these in their car now? No? No? Okay.
I just keep driving until I find out where I'm going.
Right. See, I'm from old school. Okay. Now, if we go to 66, I think is North Brookfield. Yeah, North Brookfield. Now, if I just open this up, there's a little indication right here. It says north, all right? So if I want to figure out where I am with a compass on a map, all right, I take my compass, all right, find north, okay? And then I line up the arrow that's on this page, with the arrow on the compass, because you want to orient the map, all right, to the compass. You want north facing north. Okay, if you're sitting here saying, well, gee, that's north up there, but I'm looking over this way, it's going to get very confusing. So what you want to do is when you have a map, you orientate the map to north, okay, magnetic north, just like a compass. So then when you take your compass and want to figure out exactly where you want to go, everything works together. It's in harmony, all right? So you want the compass and the map working together. You understand that? Is that confusing?
And that's how you get your heading, so.
That's how you get your heading.
Your
So if
heading
you
is
plot
30
you plot it on
degrees.
the map,
That's right.
you know, 2 dots,
Yep,
then through your compass, you figure out, oh, okay, I need to go 168 degrees.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So what you want to do is if say you get stuck in Oxford, all right, and you have this map, okay, and you have a compass, and you've got to get back to North Brookfield, all right? So you look in your map and you can see the roads, all right? But if you orientate it, maybe there's a few shortcuts because now you're not driving a car, all right? So maybe you got to walk it or bicycle it or something. Well, you want to get the easiest way to get to North Brookfield is by looking at and orientating yourself, especially if you're not familiar with the roads. You know? Because some roads will say north to North Brookfield, but it takes you like west, southwest, northeast, roundabout, then gradually gets to north. You know, so you want to, you know, if you can cut through a lot or something to get to your point of travel quicker, then that's what you want to do. Now, I know this is a quick class on this stuff, but I mean, basics. Do you understand how you determine whether you're going north or south and east and west with a compass?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get you in the summer, real class,
I
right?
can't read.
Basically,
Lack of cobs is
yeah, right.
training.
So again,
I don't understand.
most maps, even like this is just a regular road map, and it has a north orientation. It has a scale on it, so I can take the scale, okay, determine how many miles per inch, which this one's a half a mile per inch. All right, figure it out, and I can figure distance with this compass here. Okay, and most compasses that have a scale or a slide on it. All right, so it's very, so now you can, okay, if I walk 1 mile in 25 minutes, it's 4 miles. How long is it going to take you to get there?
About 2 hours.
That's right. And now you can look and determine whether you can crosswalks, save yourself a half hour, things like that. But when you're out in the middle of the woods, if you're not orientated, all right, you can get lost and start heading south instead of north. And that's why you have to have a compass, right?
And so that's why you want to use not that type of map.
Yeah.
You probably want to use a topographical map.
You can use
So
a
you
geo
know-
map, topographical map, anything. Like I keep a map like this in my car, and since I'm pretty much a student figuring out where I'm going, just gives me an idea of cross streets, things like that. Because everything, in a populated society and in modern society, we have roads, buildings, telephone poles, steeples, sewer plants, radio towers. There's things that you can orientate yourself with, right? And so the compass, for us, if we're out in the woods, it's more or less learning to navigate, right? Because sometimes you might be, even in the back of our woods, if you're out in the center of the wooded area, and if you're not familiar with it, you can get disoriented really quick. And I always tell kids when they first going out for hunting and everything else, when you get out of your car, all right, or at your starting point, all right, you want to determine okay, where am I, all right, and the telephone poles have numbers on, all right, houses have street numbers, things like that. Figure out where you are, okay. From that point, all right, if you're going to head north, all right, as an easy example here, you're going to take your compass, you're going to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to head north, all right, and it's 7:15, all right. So when I start walking from my vehicle, all right, I know it was 7:15, and I walk north. Now, what happens if 20 minutes into my hike I break a leg? and I call Rich and I go, Rich, I'm out in the woods, I broke my leg, I need help, all right? He's gonna say, well, where are you, all right? I'm gonna say, well, I was down on Donovan Road by so-and-so's house, you know, or telephone pole number 1350, all right? And I started walking north and I walked for about 20 minutes. See, all that information just gave Rich exactly where I am. But if you didn't have a compass, all right, or you didn't look at your watch, or you didn't identify your starting point, all right, how is he gonna find you? And it's the same thing, like even when we're doing, you know, bugging out, and if something happens and you had to get into the woods, or you get disoriented when there's a lot of stress in your life, and something happens, you need to make sure that these little points that you pick up and you go, okay, where am I? What am I doing? What time is it? Which direction am I going in? Because if somebody needs to help you, we all have to have that. And another good thing when you're out in the woods and you're walking north, that means you just don't look north. Right? You need to look south, you need to look east, and you need to look west while you're walking. Because for some reason, if you had to turn around, right? Say you kept walking north, all of a sudden you came to a lake, all right? It wasn't frozen yet, so you sit there and say, oh no, what am I gonna do? Well, I gotta walk backwards. Well, if you didn't orientate yourself to what the woods looked like going in the back of yourself, all right, or having a designated tree, rock formation, you know, anything like that, so you can orientate your back with your compass, all right, and turn around and say, oh, okay, oh yeah, that's the tree I looked at before. Makes your life a lot easier when you have to backtrack. You know? And I always tell people, when you know, just because you're walking one way doesn't mean you don't look all around you, because you always look for landmarks, right? You always look for identifying things that can help you in case something happens where you got to turn right around and go back to where you started from. You just never know. So that's why learning a basic compass course, all right, getting out in the woods and actually using the compass, all right, to determine, you know, how you're going to get somewhere and how you're going to get back is a great tool. You know, when we do an orienteering program out in the woods, we're going to have 5 different areas where you're going to have to find, and then you're going to have to find your way back, all right? So the only way you're going to do that is if you recorded all the information. Because the compass has the 360 degrees, you have to remember, if you're off 10 degrees, all right, in walking somewhere, all right, that's 100 feet every 1,000 feet. So if you walk 5,000 feet, which is 1 mile, all right, how far off are you going to be?
500 feet.
That's right. You know, and it just expands, goes wider and wider. So the more technically and adept you get to use a compass, is the more accurate you're going to be to get to a certain and specific point. Okay? And those are the things that, as you know, I mean, you know, I've been messing around with a compass for years, but I mean, if you're just starting out, most of the time the 9, 10, 12-year-old kids we deal with and trying to teach them how to use it, they pick it up pretty quick, you know, and it's all safety, you know. It's all making sure people know where you are, you know, as well as you know where you are. So that's a basic run through for a compass. If you look through here, all right, we've got the compass is pointing in due north, is 0 degrees, right? We got 360 degrees on a compass. You always maintain north, all right, with the needle and the outline, or your marker on your compass, depending on what kind of compass you have, all right? You notice how we get our bearings is all the degrees, right? And you don't have to get real technical unless you're going long distances in there, but if you're gonna, you know, if you have your compass pointed towards north right now, all right, and you wanted to go at 240 degrees, which direction is 240 degrees? Your compass is facing north.
Southwest.
Right. Okay. Point if you can, so I can see. Okay, good. Okay. Now, if your compass is pointed north and you want to go 150 degrees, that's your direction of travel is 150 degrees.
Southeast.
Southeast, that's right. Hey, half the class is done, man. We're good. 50-50. All right. Now, if we're going to run at 340 degrees of direction of travel, where are we going?
Almost due north.
All right. That's right, northeast. Northwest, I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's how those numbers come into play when you're using your basic compass. Okay. Any questions?
So you can navigate anything. I mean, you can fly a plane navigating.
That's right.
This way.
That's right. Yep, liquid compass. You know. So.
Well, the biggest thing is A, knowing your compass, B, knowing how to use your compass.
That's right.
C, knowing how to orienteer using the map.
That's
and
right.
then D, keeping it on you, you know, your bug out bag, whatever.
Yep.
You know, say you were out there and shit hit the fan, and you have your bug out bag, you have your compass, hopefully you have some kind of map with you.
Yep.
Everybody knows you get off the main roads.
That's right.
So, you know, you gotta hightail it however you can through whatever you can, and the compass is gonna be the quickest way for you to, especially if you start running and, you know, then you have to go right, and then you're running left.
That's right.
And then, but if you had an actual bearing, okay, well, I need to go 270 degrees. So even if you get caught off track or whatever, you know, all I have to do is go back on 270 degrees. It might not be to the exact spot you're
That's right.
looking at before.
But it orientates you to the direction where you're headed. And that's why, especially when you're bugging out or if something happens, if you're in the city, there's no way you're going down Main Street or Holden Street, you know, or 31. You know what kind of chaos is going to be going on?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so, and that's why you're going to have to crosswalk, you know, a crosswalk. You know, look for somebody's bicycle. If somebody's bicycle there, grab a bike and get as far as you can, you know, or a lawn tractor, you know. I mean, a lawn tractor is better than walking, right?
So can you do that, so that the key thing is having a map too, is having a key. But
Yeah,
say
you
I
should
wanted
always
to
have
get,
a map.
say I'm stuck in Oxford.
Yep.
And I want to get to your house.
Right.
So North Brookfield's big.
Right.
I could get to North Brookfield, but how do I refine, well, you could say take a bearing or say, I don't know, 180
Yep.
off of that, and if that line,
Right. If
Well, what
you
you do
say
is if you had the map,
right.
if you have a map,
The people have talked about the magnetic field flipping,
yeah.
you know, and if that does it, then it's everything's.
I have a question. I can't wear watches because I have too much nickel in my system.
Yeah.
Is that gonna affect this too?
I don't know if there's any nickel in. But if you
Nickel's-
get the little
nickel's
one,
not magnetic.
Yeah.
Within 2 days of wearing a watch, it dies, no matter what.
really?
Yeah.
that drains the battery.
Yeah. See, like,
Anyone.
yeah,
So will it
nickel,
affect it?
copper, you know, brass, anything like that. Like this clip is non-magnetic on here. But I mean, there's different things. You'd have to check and see. I don't know if the magnetism of the needle, because most of these compasses now are all plastic, except for the tip of your needle.
Well, I didn't know if
And
it
the
affected
pin.
it because I
And the
can't
pin
wear a
that's
watch.
holding it in.
So I didn't know what-
Hey, so there's some tips that I'll just go through and finish this up, all right? Hold the compass level, all right? Why? Because if you tilt it, then the needle sort of like catches on something, and it won't be accurate, so you always try to keep it flat. All right, read the correct end of the needle, okay? You know what the correct end is? What is it? The red or the green end, or whatever color it might be, okay? Use common sense. It says, knowing that if you are in North America, Europe, or Asia, or heading anywhere towards the sun, you cannot be heading north. Yeah, get it? Okay. Okay, red in the shed, that's all you have to, that's the easiest, it's like red with dead on the safeties on the fire alarm. Okay, and keep the compass away from metal objects. Even a knife, flashlight, or keychain can cause a false reading if too close to the compass. So Lisa, at least you won't give it false readings. Right? Because if you had too much iron, then you know, the needle would be whacked. Since it's nickel,
Okay.
and that's the
I
only
get it.
legal
I'm too
currency
sleepy.
right now, so that's actually worth what its weight is, right? Nickel. Okay, and that's pretty much it for a basic course.